Welcome back, Algebrainiacs. Going to step into the next form of trinomial factoring. Before we do that, of course, I just can't start without telling you a joke, can I? So here it is. Even though they're all closed right now, unfortunately, because I need to get my iPhone updated. Oh my gosh, I need a new phone, it's about to die. But if you were to witness a robbery at an Apple store, does that make you an eyewitness? Yeah, baby. All right. Sorry, I had to go with that one. All right, love it. So, this next form of factoring, again, we're factoring trinomials. This is on page, why do I always do that after the fact? 395. Okay? It's factoring trinomials. The difference is you've got now a number in front of the squared term. Okay? So that's what makes it a little bit different. It makes the numbers a little bit larger. Otherwise, the form is exactly the same. So I'm going to do 10 through 16. We're going to do those together. I'm here to tell you, I haven't done these yet, so hopefully I don't screw them up too bad. We'll see how it goes. All right, 16 is going to be a gem. All right, so let me see. This may take, bear with me as I figure these out on the fly. All right, so 10 should be pretty easy. 10, I have 8m squared plus 30m plus 7. All right, 8m squared plus 30m plus 7. So we do the exact same thing. What times what equals, I multiply the two numbers together, equals 56. And what plus what equals the number here, 30. Okay? Some of you, if not most of you, probably already see the answer very quickly here. If we're factoring 56, there's not a lot of options. You've got 1 and 56. And then you've got 7 and 8. And you're done. Okay? So which of those two, when you add them together, like I said, I'm doing this on the fly. I'm missing something. I must be missing another. Oh, I am missing it. Derf to derf. How about this? There, that'll be helpful if I actually factored it all correctly, wouldn't it? All right, I forgot the 2 of the 28, the critical one to have up there. All right, told you I'm doing this on the fly, so bear with me. All right, so we've now completely factored it, right? 1 times 56, 2 times 28, and 7 times 8. So of those three options, the one that when you add them together gives you 30 is clearly 2 and 28. So write those in, doesn't matter what order. Okay, and then follow the same format. Make your brackets, drop your first term down, drop your first number down and add the variable. Drop your last term down to the last spot with the sign. Drop your second term down with the sign and add the variable. Great. So I've got 8m squared plus 2m. The common factor between those two is 2m. So I take out a 2m. I'm left with 4m plus 1. Look at the second term, 28m plus 7. The common factor between those two is a positive 7. Leaves me with 4m plus 1. I'm feeling good about it because they look exactly the same, so I know I'm golden. Write your answer. 2m plus 7 times 4m plus 1. And I should have said this in the first thing. If you ever want to check and see if you're right, you can always take this and you can FOIL it or put it in the table and see if it ends up back where you started. Okay? Trust me, it does. I'm never wrong, right? All right. There's that one. All right, let's get a little tougher. Let's look at number 12. 10w squared minus 31w plus 15. Okay? What times what gives me 150. What plus what also gives me negative 31. Okay? A little bit odder because we've got this weird combination of larger numbers. That's the only thing that makes this a little tougher than the previous factoring. So let's factor out 150. Let's see if I can do it right this time, but I'm going to use a different color. So clearly 1 times 150 In no way do I get that to be a negative 31. Remember also, because our second term is negative, that means these are going to be negative down here, both of them. Because when they multiply, they got to be positive. When they add, they got to be negative, so both of them are negative. Negative 1 and negative 150 clearly doesn't help us here. Let's not forget the 2 like I did last time. That doesn't help us here. Negative 2 plus negative 75 gives me negative 77. That isn't it. 3 times 50. 3 plus 50 is 53. That's not it. 4 is a no, right? Yeah. 5. Negative 5 times negative 30. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So that becomes 35.
And 6.
Does 6 go into that?
6 times 25.
Yeah, and then 6 times 25 also works. And I have arrived. Because negative 6 plus negative 25 equals negative 31. Okay, so I plug those in. Doesn't matter which way, I'll just do it the way I have it written. Just double check yourself really quick to make sure you're happy with it. Does negative 6 times negative 25 give me positive 150? It absolutely does. And negative 6 plus negative 25 gives me negative 31. Great. Write them in. Write your brackets. Drop your first term in the first spot. Drop your second term with the sign and add the variable. Drop your last term in the last spot with the sign and bring your second number down with the sign and add the variable. And factor. So clearly, with the first one, you've got 10w squared minus 6w. The common factor between those two is 2w. So I pull out a 2w. That leaves me with 5w minus 3. In the second term, again, I need the w to be positive, so I'm going to be factoring out a negative number. The common term between these is negative 5. That leaves me with 5w minus 3. Wonderful, they're the same, I'm good. 2w minus 5 times 5w minus 3. Okay, that's the second one. And again, I know I'm going kind of fast, but you can pause this obviously at any time and repeat it. All right, going to the next one, number 14. This one looks pretty easy. 4z squared plus 4z minus 3. What times what equals negative 12, right? 4 times negative 3. What plus what equals positive 4. So factor out again, because my first term is negative and my second term is positive, then I have one of my factors is positive and one of them is negative. So let's factor 12. I've got negative 1 times 12, or 1 times negative 12. Got to do them both. Negative 2 times 6, or 2 times negative 6. And negative 3 times 4, or 3 times negative 4. Okay? Those are your options. So when you look at these and you say, okay, of all these options, which one of those, when added together, gives me a positive 4? I'll pause here for just a moment for you all to look before I tell you. It's this one right here. Negative 2 plus 6 is a plus 4. And negative 2 times 6 is a negative 12. Right? So fill it in. Ba-dum-ba-dum. And bring down your brackets. 4z squared minus 2z, 6z minus 3. Factor. Pull out a 2z. That leaves me with 2z minus 1. Pull out a positive 3. Leaves me with a 2z minus 1, not an x, a z. Clearly they're the same. So I'm done. 2z plus 3 times 2z minus 1. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, that one was easy. Numbers are small. Last one, numbers are large. Let's see if we can fumble through this one. 18v squared, this is number 16, minus 15v minus 18. Blank times blank equals 324, which is 18 times 18. Megan, check that real quick, make sure my math is right. 18 squared. All right, and then what plus what gives me negative 15.
That's right.
That's right. All right. So, this is positive and this is negative, so one of them is going to be positive, one of them is going to be negative. This is going to take a little bit more time. Let's see. So clearly, I have 1 times 324. We're just going to throw that whole thing out. Obviously, that's way too large. 2 times 112? No. 167?
162.
Oh, 162. 2 times 162. Clearly, that's way too large to get to negative 15. We've got to get much bigger than that. 4 goes into that 81 times. That's too big. 6 goes into that 54 times. Okay, that's still not going to get us to negative 15. 8 does not go into that. 10 does not go into that. 9 doesn't either. 12. I believe 12 goes into that. 24. Yeah. 12 times, is it 17?
27.
12 times 27. Yeah, 12 times 27. Okay? And remember, one of them has to be positive and one of them has to be, I mean, they're both, oh, I didn't write this. This is negative 324. They're both negative. One has to be positive, one has to be negative, right? So, I've arrived at our solution. 12 and 27, but one of them has to be negative. Which one is negative? The larger one. Because a positive 12 minus 27 gives me a negative 15. Okay? A positive 12 minus a 27 gives me a negative 15. The larger numbers make this slightly harder because you do have to factor and take your time factoring, okay, to arrive at the answer. All right, so a positive 12 and negative 27. Positive 12, negative 27. Brackets. Bring down the first term, 18v squared plus 12. Bring down the second term, add the variable, and the last term, negative 18. Factor. Common factor here, I'll just show the v, is 6v, leaving with 3v plus 2. Again, I need a positive v here, so I'm going to factor out a negative number. It's a negative 9. Leaves me with 3v plus 2. So again, I'm happy. They're the same. I've arrived at my answer. 6v minus 9 times 3v plus 2. Okay? So that one was obviously the hardest one because the numbers were larger. And you just have to go down with your factors until you arrive at the right solution. There isn't an easier way to do that than that, but you just have to know how to factor your numbers. Okay? So that is factoring trinomials when there is a constant in front of the squared term. Same concept as the first one, just sometimes a little more challenging because the numbers are a little bit larger. Deuces.